So you're struggling to find a specific strategy to build your team. You want to do a win now team, but you also don't want to do a futuristic team. This is a perfect opportunity because Zach is going to tell us why he's building a hybrid team. Okay, so we're going to give you some strategies of how to build a hybrid team in your dynasty startups here. And we're going to take you through a team. Zach's going to take you through his team in one of his leagues. So, Zach.
Yeah.
What draft spot did you have? What league is this? Give us all the details, the rundowns of this league.
Get to the nitty gritty. Okay, so this is in our follower league, and this is the Juliet League. We name our leagues by the NATO alphabet. And wouldn't you know it, I got the 11 spot. If you know, you know, this has been a meme all off season. And it feels like in almost every league that we've started, I've either ended up with the 11 or the 12 spot. And while that is frustrating and I pray to the fantasy gods and they never hear me, it also leaves me free and open to try a lot of different strategies. So I had the 11 spot here. And by the way, 5 of the 8 leagues we started this offseason, I got the 11 or 12.
Just absolute pain. I get it. I hear you.
So look, I've done a lot of rebuilding teams at the end because I feel like at the end you have a lot of flexibility. There's good win now guys at that side of the board, but you can also sell off a lot of important picks to get a lot of future draft capital. Specifically at the round 3 to 4 turn, I feel like there was really good win now options. So when I got the 11 spot, I said, you know what? Why don't I build a hybrid win now? A team where I'm going to give maybe future draft capital. I'm going to try to win now, but I'm going to try to keep it young. That way, in 2 to 3 years, I'm looking at my team and I'm thinking, I can still win with this team. This team isn't too old. I'm not in a window where I feel like I have to completely hit the reset button. I can keep trying to build with these, values I find in rookie drafts. So I'm going to take you through the trades that I made pre-draft. Again, I got the 11 spot in a 12-man league. I'm going to take you through each trade, and then later I'm going to show you what those trades ended up being. So first trade I made here, I was able to grab the 305 and the 209. I gave up both of my future firsts and the 911, okay? Now, this was my broke money don't make none move. I'm giving up pretty much the important future capital that I would have, if I was to be a rebuilding team or, just draft directly from the spot. And with this move, I was able to get 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. Second trade you're going to see here, I got the 503, the 610, and the 207. And essentially, these are just pick swaps. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the other team you can see, they really prioritize the 202. And I understand because I was really hesitant to let go of that 202. I mean, I'm potentially giving up a Kyle Pitts, a really elite quarterback,
the
running back 1 or 2, right? Like depending on what your league does.
Many good foundational pieces there at the 202 for sure.
Exactly. So when I was approached by someone who wanted the 202, I said, look, I'm open to it, but I need really good value. And I felt like the swap from the 6th to the 5th and from the 8th to the 6th was more than enough value for me to go ahead and pull the trigger. Now, Kyle Pitts was who I wanted there. You're going to see later I was able to kind of get a different option, but I needed something to help relieve the pain of potentially losing out on one of those elite guys. So that worked out for both of us. He got his guy. I was able to build the team that I wanted. Third trade here, I was able to grab the 609 for the 1111 and a 23 second. Just looking for a vet wide receiver with that pick or a vet guy for a flex. Fourth trade I'm going to show you is where I got the 212. So I sent the 402, the 1002, and the 1402 for the 212. Now, why did I do this? I had too many picks. If I kept all the picks that I had, I was going to have to drop people after the draft ended anyway, okay? Yeah. So if you're doing this kind of strategy and you're getting more and more picks, keep in mind that just because you have more picks doesn't mean you're going to have to drop players if you have more picks than there are draft rounds. Just keep that in mind, okay? But specifically with the 212, I'm obsessed right now with the 2-3 turn in Dynasty startups. The value there is just incredible to me. In my mind, this was going to be T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, or my second quarterback.
Right.
But now we can look at the draft board, Badaki.
Yeah.
And where did you draft in this one?
I drafted in the 7 spot. Yeah, I had a weird team, but I'm still really happy with how my team came out.
Sure. Sure. So we're going to look at my draft here. And again, I'm going to take you through each trade and show you what it ended up being. So that first trade where I gave the 209 and the 305, or I got the 209 and the 305 and gave up both my future picks and a later pick. So the 209 ended up being DeAndre Swift, which I think is good value. And then the 305, I got T. Higgins. Okay. So if you look at that trade now, it's DeAndre Swift, T. Higgins for a 23 and a 24 first. And then Ryan Tannehill ended up being the pick that I gave up here at the 9-11. So, obviously those first round picks will become more valuable in the next couple of years. Correct. And my players might be less valuable. I mean, I don't think they will, but I think it made sense for me to build a team. The second trade that I showed you was the 207, 503, 610. It was that pick swap for the 202.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So the 202 ended up being Kyle Pitts. And I don't know if you remember when I was on the clock.
Yeah, there. you were really upset that Trey Lance was still available, and I think your initial thoughts Pitts, here. I know. Well, you were upset that Kyle Pitts and Trey Lance were available. Your initial thoughts was that you were hoping Pitts or Trey was at least going to be off the board, so your decision was a lot easier. And that just wasn't the case. And you took that whole time. You even used your trade window, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was hard because obviously Kyle Pitts was someone I really wanted to target and just not worry about the tight end position. But anyway, with that trade, I was able to move back. Okay, so I got Matthew Stafford. At the 503, I got J.K. Dobbins. Mm-hmm. At the 610, I got Rashad Bateman. And what I gave up ended up being the Kyle Pitts. At the 602, it was Tom Brady. And the 802 was A.J. Dillon. So however you want to view that trade, I think I would make it again. Okay. I feel like that trade worked out for me, but you can't really quantify Kyle Pitts. I understand that's hard to quantify Kyle Pitts.
No, it's definitely interesting. It definitely worked out in your favor, like you said. I mean, Trey Lance, Matthew Stafford, you still get a top tier tight end you didn't want to worry about. So it's not Kyle Pitts, but it's Mark Andrews. I definitely see that perspective.
Exactly, and I think that really worked out well for me. At the 212, that was the fourth trade that I showed you guys. So that ended up being, I got Mark Andrews, and what I sent away ended up being Tua Tagovailoa, Davis Mills, and James Robinson. So I think that worked out for me. It gave me the flexibility, and I was really hoping that at the 212, Mark Andrews would fall. And that made me feel a little bit better about missing out on Kyle Pitts. The third trade where I gave up my second and 23 and the 11, I was able to grab Chris Godwin.
Okay.
You can see here at the 6'9", just another vet guy to kind of help me out, who I think can also help me win in the future. I don't think he's old enough to consider him a strictly win now asset.
No, and he keeps falling as well. I mean, yes. I think in the early season, off season, when we did our Dynasty startups with, I think the Charlie League, he was going in the 4th round. Mm-hmm. And for you to get him in the 6th here, I think it was a really good value.
Yeah, agreed. And then I did one trade in the draft. Okay. If you guys don't know, we do 1.5 minutes on the clock. We love the atmosphere of a real live draft. Slow drafts are great and they're really convenient and there's nothing wrong with them. Yeah. We're not against them, but we just love the atmosphere of a real draft where we're all together. We're all, just banter.
Just vibing.
It's like a special environment that you can create. So I felt that I was kind of one piece away after my pick here at the 7-Eleven, Badaki.
Okay.
I felt like I was really just one piece away because I had Treylon Burks there. I had DK Metcalf, again, another young guy that I think can help me compete now and later. I liked both of those guys, but Godwin was injured. I kind of felt like I really just want one more flex.
Right.
To kind of feel comfortable with this hybrid that I can compete right now. I can field a team that can start to win games. So I had been working on a trade with, we're not going to put people's names in here in case, because we don't want to ask everyone if they're okay or not okay with us using their trades. But yeah, I'd been working on a trade for quite some time with someone pretty much since round 6, because I was looking at my board and I thought, man, I feel like I'm going to need one more player. Right. So pretty much since round 6, I had been working on a back and forth with a trade for the 8-3. And you guys know how much we love Allen Robinson on this channel, how much we believe in his, the next phase of his career, if you will, in Los Angeles. So he was my target there. And then when the 8-3 popped up and Allen Robinson was available, we had that deal in place. And maybe it's something that you can do in your leagues.
Yeah.
You can negotiate while people are on the clock,
Yeah.
And at points you can tell someone, hey, like if you like this value and there's no one that you like on the board at this point, let's make this deal. And that's what happened here. The 803 came up. I was super comfortable taking Allen Robinson here because I felt like in this league where, we can start like 4 or 5 wide receivers.
It's crucial to have that depth.
I really wanted that depth. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like Chubb was a great value as well. He fell to the 7-11. I just felt like things kind of fell for me. I know some people will really hate to see the J.K. Dobbins pick.
I think it's fine. I mean, I get it. I mean, you get J.K. Dobbins and then Chubb falling to you there at the 7-11.
Chubb made it feel so much more comfortable.
Yeah,
for that
I think
Dobbins pick.
And this draft in general was very weird from the jump.
Yes.
And I think there were so many teams trying to do a win now strategy. So which really kind of helped it. One thing I wanted to say with the trade, with Allen Robinson, sometimes you have to continue the conversation for a long time to really make it happen. Like Zach said, he was talking to this person 2 rounds earlier, 1 minute each, minute and a half each, maybe one of these guys used the trade window, that could have been 20, 30 minutes of him just trying to really either finesse or trying to have a conversation. Like, how can we really get this done?
Totally. And there were many conversations I had even before the draft, weeks before, where someone would say, I really want to trade this pick. And I would say, well, here's something we have set up in case the board looks good for me, you know?
Yeah.
So those are conversations that you can have. Now, it depends on how active your leagues are. I feel like our leagues, people are like us, they live for this. So they love talking trades.
I completely get it.
I wanted to address one thing because I think people are going to look at my team and think, man, you took Trey Lance and you're a win now team. This is really going to come down to your perspective on Trey Lance, guys.
Yeah, and how you really see him.
I have talked about him multiple times on our redraft channel, on this channel. I feel like the breakout is here. The breakout will happen this year. In my redraft rankings, he's actually my quarterback 7. So this didn't feel for me, even in a win now scenario, I don't feel uncomfortable taking Trey Lance here.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I made sure to grab my third quarterback, Carson Wentz. We can trash on him all we want, but Carson Wentz still finished as the quarterback 13 last year. So in a 2 quarterback format, I think he's going to be someone that's going to be somewhat reliable.
Yeah.
So, I understand there might be some questions out there about Trey Lance. I love the weapons around him. I love the offense that he's in. The 2 games that he started, he averaged 12 rushing attempts. I mean, even if you guys think he's going to struggle as a passer, so did Jalen Hurts. But he was able to be really successful in fantasy because of his athleticism and his play style. So if Jalen Hurts was able to do that, and you guys know I'm not high on Jalen Hurts, but I really believe in Trey Lance's talent. Loved him out of college. And I think this is the year he got to sit back an entire year, absorb the playbook. I think he's going to have a breakout season this year. I really do. And personally, I'm someone who has said this publicly, but I feel like we're going to be talking about him in the top 7 next year. Okay, well, where do you draft Trey Lance? Is it Trey Lance or Kyler? Is it Trey Lance or Lamar? Is it Trey Lance or Burrow? Where do you kind of sit here? And if I'm wrong, I will be more than happy to hold up my hands and say I was wrong. But this is someone that doesn't worry me to start on a weekly basis. I've been telling people to target him as a late round quarterback in redraft. So just wanted to clarify that as well.
And that's the risk that sometimes you have to take, especially trying to do this hybrid. You want to go with these young players you believe in, but also have some good foundation. So, like, for example, and if things really don't work out with Trey Lance, you don't have a first in 2023 or 2020 in 2024, which then that's a problem. But like the expectation and the belief of Trey Lance from Zach and the community it's not going to go that way. Like we really believe that he's going to be a top guy. Once again, that is the risk that you have to take, especially in a dynasty league. And that's why you do multiple leagues. You want to do different strategies and see how it works out. So I hear you. Yeah.
And just to look at the following board, you can see I was able to grab Brian Robinson, JD McKissick later on, Brevin Jordan, who I think could have a really good year. And then you always want to make sure you get your taxi guys in. So I was able to grab some guys that I felt comfortable popping in my taxi and just seeing what happened. And then again, OBJ's there. You never know. Let's see what happens with OBJ.
Agreed.
So that is the team, and I'll show you guys like the team on a different format here in a second. But you know, what stands out about this team, Badaki, when you look at it straight away? Like, is there anything in particular that you think, ooh, this could put you in a hard position? Because
the only thing is probably would be the Trey Lance if he's not successful. I can't see anything else. You have the depth in the running back with Swift, Chubb, and Dobbins. You have the depth at wide receiver with Chris Godwin essentially on the bench or whoever, and with Rashad Bateman, Treylon Burks as well on the bench.
Yeah,
the tight end position is solidified. Maybe that's another thing, is a tight end position. But I mean, we just did a video.
Got Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews, and we have Hayden Hurst there. So I'm really confident in this team.
So what I was kind of fishing for, see if you were on the same page with me, but a lot of people noticed this afterwards, was the Baltimore Ravens. I have 3 Ravens on my team. So I have Mark Andrews, I've got J.K. Dobbins, and I've got Rashad Bateman on my team. And you know, that's one of those scenarios where on the board, I honestly just felt like they were the best values on the board. I know that people will look at oh my gosh, bro, you could have gotten Derrick Henry at the 5.5. I know. I don't want any part of Derrick Henry. I know strictly win now. I'm a hybrid, though. Derrick Henry's not going to help me in a hybrid. And then when I looked at, you know, the wide receivers that were available, I just felt like they were the best values on the board at each pick. I am trying to move them, but I don't feel like I have to move them either.
Right.
And I'm not getting the trades that I want. I don't feel like anyone's sending me the trades for Bateman, for Dobbins, that I look at and I think I feel like this really benefits my team and yours. And because people know that I have 3 players from the same team, they're trying to send me like deals, like, you know, oh, let me just help. It's like, well, I don't feel like I have to make this move.
Yeah,
like,
you don't have to do
I'm not
right
going
now.
to trade someone just and
this
get
could
worse
be,
value.
This can be your trade piece if, let's just say, Trey Lance doesn't work out. You can trade Dobbins for a first if he's doing okay. You can trade Rashad Bateman for a first if he's doing okay, and try to get that first back to really be like,
they're all players that I believe in, though. And
you
know, we talked about this before on a different video, but if the Ravens are going to succeed, I feel like the big 3 have to be super important to this team. If you look at that roster, it's Mark Andrews, Bateman, and Dobbins. Those are the 3 most talented, I mean, outside of Lamar, obviously, players on that offense.
Yeah.
And it's not crazy to say that 3 players need to perform really well for an offense to function. So,
gotta wait and see.
The way I view it is, this is a good offense, and you know, I don't want 3 players from the same team, but also I have the flexibility to not start every single one of those guys on a weekly basis. And so anyway, you can look at the team here. This is how I currently have it constructed. Stafford, Trey Lance as my quarterbacks. My running backs, I got Swift and Chubb. I got Dobbins in my flex right now. My wide receivers are T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Allen Robinson, Mark Andrews at tight end. But again, with that flex spot, I feel like J.K. Dobbins is the one where I'm kind of not sure who I'm starting week 1. Between Dobbins, if Godwin's healthy, who knows, Bateman, potentially Burks. But at this point, that's how I have it established.
It looks like in the next, maybe like the first 8 weeks of the season, it's going to be based off matchup. You know, who gives it the most points in the running back, or who gives it the most points in the wide receiver, or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
Because it's going to be tough. You know, it's going to be tough. I mean, you have Bateman and Godwin on the bench. Who you gonna put in the flex when you got Allen Robinson in there? You know, and you got.
It's a good problem to have, though.
It is. It is a great problem to have, but this is the struggle. Maybe DK Metcalf could be on the bench because he ain't got no quarterback.
You're such a DK hater.
I'm not DK. I love DK. Just there's no quarterback there at the moment. But I hear you.
I get it. So yeah, I am looking to potentially move one of these Ravens, not Mark Andrews, I don't think.
Right.
But I feel really comfortable with this team. And, you know, if everything goes my way, I'm probably winning a championship. Now, how many times does everything go your way in a league? 0% of the time. But I feel like this is a young team that I continue to build with. I'm happy with it. Again, it's a hybrid. So yes, I lost my picks, but also if you look at those trades, I feel like if I was to trade for any of these players anyway, these young guys, I would have to give up the assets that I gave up. So I feel like I'm trading for these guys already through the trade market or pre-draft trades. And I feel pretty comfortable with building with this team long term. Stafford, only 33 years old. Trey Lance, about to start his first season. DeAndre Swift, still a young guy. T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, both young. I got a vet in Allen Robinson to kind of help bridge the gap there. Bateman's young. Burks is young. Godwin is a vet at this point. Chubb is a vet at this point. So I felt really good about the team. This is one of my favorite drafts, this offseason. You guys might feel differently, and that's okay. You can let us know in the comments below. But obviously the goal is to compete this year and just keep finding little values in the third.
That's all it is. Of
rookie drafts. And then in 2025, I still have a good team that I can compete with, and I've got all my picks back. So
yeah. It looks great. It looks great. I really like the team. I think you did well, and let's see if the community likes it. Really.
Let's find out. Why don't you comment below? Let me know what your thoughts are. It's okay if you disagree. Let us know.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.